Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. This is MD Saiful Islam, an assistant teacher of Ponojadu High School, Ranina Unawad, and you are most welcome in my Saiful English Academy. Dear students, those students who are very weak in English, who think English as a hard subject still today, who can't pronounce any words accurately, who can do spelling any words accurately, who are unable to change narration from direct to indirect, who are unable to change voice from direct to indirect, who don't know the rules of using right form of verb, who don't know how to form a question, who don't know how to form a suffix prefix, who don't know the rules of capitalization, who don't know the rules of punctuation, who are unable to make a suitable sentence with various kinds of tense, who are unable to identify various kinds of parts of it in the midst of any sentence, who are unable to identify various kinds of tense to see a sentence, and who have various kinds of problem. After all, with dear learners, I can say the students who are very weak and can't learn English going in a renowned coaching center for their financial program. Only for the students like dear learners, I want to dedicate my video classes so that they can remove all the weakness about English and various kinds of problem of their English, and can be benefited, can be perfect in English subject. My dear learners, with this view, I have already uploaded two episodes in my YouTube channels. Hope that you are very well by the grace of Allah, Almighty Allah. I am so alhamdulillah, and watched my two previous classes nicely, beautifully, and correctly. My dear learners, with the reference of my previous classes, episode number 1 and episode number 2, I have been present in front of you with a new arrangement, new class. In my last episode, you were told about various kinds of clause and phrase. You were told that, my dear learners, what's a phrase? You were told that a phrase is a group of words that contains at least a subject and a finite verb. Okay, my dear learners, and you are told what's a phrase? Sorry, what's a phrase? What's a phrase? You are told, my dear learners, a phrase is a group of words that doesn't contain a subject and a finite verb. And what's a clause? You are told that, my dear learners, clause is a group of words which contains at least a subject and a finite verb. You are also told that, my dear learners, we can classify a clause into three ways: principal clause, subordinate clause, and coordinate clause. And you are also told that, my dear learner, what's a principal clause? Our principal clause is a clause which contains at least a subject and a finite verb. Okay, my dear learners, what's a subordinate clause? You are told that, my dear learners, a subordinate clause is a clause that contains a subject, a finite verb, and a subordinate marker or subordinate conjunction. And you are told what coordinate clause. About the definition of coordinate clause, you are told that, sir, my dear learners, when same categories two clauses are joined with any coordinate conjunction, then it is called a coordinate clause. And you are told how you can identify various kinds of clause and various kinds of phrase. My dear learners, hope that you have understood clearly my last episode and today's episode with the reference of last episode or last class. I have been present in front of you a new arrangement or new class. So my viewers, take note and take a look at the board and try to understand. So my dear learners, today's class I am trying to make you understand about how to identify a simple sentence, a complex sentence, and a compound sentence, my dear learners. Simple, complex, and compound sentence, my dear learners. Of course, take a look at the board and try to understand have written three examples. I have written three examples. First example, try to think about first example. Because of my being ill. Because of my being ill. আমার অসুস্থতার কারণে। আমার অসুস্থতার কারণে I couldn't go out. আমি বাইরে যেতে পারি নাই। My dear learners, try to think how many person has of this statement. I can see, my dear learners, not only I but also you also, and you also notice in the midst of this statement, this statement has two portion. Number one, because of my being ill. Number two portion, I couldn't go out. Okay, my dear learners, now try to think about clause. I can see, I can ensure you, my dear learners, I couldn't go out. Of course, a principal clause. Of course, a principal clause. Because at the time of make you understand about the definition of a principal clause, you are told that, my dear learners, principal clause is a clause which contains at least a subject and a finite verb. And according to the definition of a principal clause, this person is of course a principal clause. Now think about this person. We can say that, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. This person has no any subject and any finite verb. And according to the definition of a phrase, we can say that if a phrase is a group of words which doesn't contain a subject and a finite verb. Okay, my dear learners, in this sense, according to the definition of phrase, we can call this person, of course, a phrase, my dear learners. And now think about and try to remind and try to note about the definition of a simple sentence. We can say that, my dear learners, simple sentence is the sentence which contains at least one principal clause. One principal clause. A phrase may be have or not, may be have or not. And according to the definition of simple clause, of course, this sentence statement or sentence is a principal clause. Okay, my dear learners. So write down simple sentence, my dear learners, of that understood clearly. তাহলে my dear learners, যেটা বললাম যে সিম্পল সেন্টেন্সের সংজ্ঞাটা আমরা এইভাবে করতে পারি। সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স এমন একটা সেন্টেন্স যে সেন্টেন্সের মধ্যে একটা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে, একটা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে, সেখানে ফ্রেজ থাকতেও পারে নাও পারে। ওকে, মাই ডিয়ার লার্নার্স, এবং এই সংজ্ঞা অনুযায়ী এই সেন্টেন্সটাকে আমরা সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স বলতে পারবো। ওকে, মাই ডিয়ার লার্নার্স, তাহলে আই ক্যান রিভিউ এগেন, আমি আরেকবার রিভিউ করতে চাই। ট্রাই টু রিমাইন্ড দ্য ডেফিনিশন অফ সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স। যে সেন্টেন্সের মধ্যে অ্যাক্টিভ প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে, যে সেন্টেন্সের মধ্যে অ্যাক্টিভ প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে, যে সেন্টেন্সের মধ্যে একটা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে। A simple sentence is a sentence which contains at least a principal clause. সেখানে একটা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকতেই হবে, সেখানে ফ্রেজ থাকতেও পারে নাও পারে। ওকে, my dear learners, of that you have understood. Learners, of that you have understood clearly. Now think about second example. I can see, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. This sentence has two portions. One portion is since I was ill. Since I was ill. Another portion, I couldn't go out. Another portion is I couldn't go out. My dear learners, now try to select clause. I can say and I can ensure you, my dear learners, first person is of course a subordinate clause and second person is of course a principal clause. My dear learners, now think about why and this person is a subordinate clause. Because at the top of the statement is of course a subordinate clause. Because at the time you make you understand about the definition of a subordinate clause, you are told that, my dear learners, a subordinate clause is a clause which contains a subject, a finite verb and a subordinate marker. And according to the definition of subordinate clause, of course this person is a subordinate clause. Okay, my dear learners, and now think about this clause. I can ensure you, my dear learners, this clause is of course a principal clause. Because at the time I make you understand about the definition of a principal clause, you are told that, my dear learners, principal clause is a clause which or that contains at least one subject and one finite verb. And according to the definition of a principal clause, of course, this person is a principal clause. My dear learners, hope that you have understood clearly. Now, my question to you, my dear learners, what category of a sentence is this? My dear learners, listen to me well and try to mind and try to note the definition of a complex sentence. We can say in this way, complex sentence is the sentence which contains at least a principal clause and a subordinate clause. At least a principal clause and a subordinate clause. অর্থাৎ বন্ধুরা কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স বা জটিল বাক্য আমরা সেই বাক্যকে বলতে পারি যে বাক্যের মধ্যে কমপক্ষে একটি প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ এবং কমপক্ষে একটি সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজ থাকবে বন্ধুরা। তাহলে উই ক্যান সে ইন দিস ওয়ে দিস স্টেটমেন্ট অ্যাকর্ডিং টু দ্য ডেফিনেশন অফ a complex sentence, we can say this statement is of course a complex sentence. So write down complex sentence. Okay, my dear learners, now think about third example. We can say in the midst of the third example has two portion. One portion, I was ill. Another portion, I couldn't go out. And mixed with coordinating conjunction and. My dear learners, and now think about what's clause. First person, I was ill, of course the principal clause, and second person, I couldn't go out, of course the principal clause. Now why? Now my question to you, why this person is a principal clause? Hope that you can reply my question easily. Because various kinds of definition I have discussed in my last episode. Hope that you have understood clearly, my dear learners. At the time I make you understand about the definition of a principal clause, you are told that principal clause is a clause which contains at least a subject and a finite verb. Similarly, we can say this person is also a principal clause because this person has at least one subject and one finite verb. And according to the definition of principal clause, of course this person and this person, of course principal clause. Now think about what categories of sentence is this, my dear learners. At first you will have to mind, or you have to remember, you will have to note instantly about the definition of a compound sentence. We can say the definition of a compound sentence in this way, my dear learners. Compound sentence is the sentence which contains two principal clause, joined together by coordinating conjunction, like and, but, or, as well as either dot or neither dot or etc. Okay, my dear learners, I can say again. Compound sentence is a sentence which contains two principal clause, joined together by any coordinating conjunction like and, but, or, as well as either dot or neither dot or etc. And according to the definition of a compound sentence, this sentence is of course a compound sentence. So, my dear learners, write this statement is a compound সেন্টেন্স। তাহলে বন্ধুরা কি বললাম, কম্পাউন্ড সেন্টেন্সের সংজ্ঞাটা এইভাবে বললাম যে সেন্টেন্সে দুটা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ, কয়টা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ? দুইটা। কয়টা বন্ধুরা? দুইটা। কোঅর্ডিনেটিং কনজাংশন দ্বারা যুক্ত থাকবে। কোঅর্ডিনেটিং কনজাংশন অনেকগুলো হতে পারে বন্ধুরা, এন্ড, বাট, অর, অ্যাজ ওয়েল অ্যাজ, আইদার ডট অর, নেইদার ডট অর, ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি। এই ধরনের অনেকগুলো কোঅর্ডিনেটিং কনজাংশন আছে, আমরা পরবর্তী ক্লাসে আলোচনা করার চেষ্টা করব বন্ধুরা। Hope that you have understood clearly, my dear learners. Of the board and try to understand. We eat rice to live oil. Number 5, we eat rice so that we can live oil. Number 6, we eat rice and we eat rice and we can live oil. Okay, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. At first, you'll have to say what categories of sentence of this. What categories of sentence of this? Sorry, my dear learners. At first, you'll have to identify principal clause or subordinate clause or coordinate clause and phrase. I can see, my dear learners, this sentence possessed one subject and one finite verb. One subject and one finite verb. One person, we eat rice. We eat rice. Another person, to live oil. And dear learners, now try to think about clause. This person is principal clause and this person is phrase. My dear learners, my question to you: why this person is a principal clause? Of that, you can reply my question simply. Because about the definition of a principal clause, you are told in my because you are told at the time of make you understand in my previous class, my dear learners, what's a principal clause. You are told that, my dear learners, a principal clause is the clause which contains at least one subject and one finite verb. Okay, my dear learners, now think about this person. This person, of course, a phrase, to live oil, because according to the definition of phrase, you were told that about the definition of a phrase in my last episode, in my last class. What's a phrase? You were told that, my learners, phrase is a group of words which or that doesn't contain have a subject and a finite verb. In this sense, we can call this person of course a phrase. Okay, my dear learners, now think about what category of sentence is this. This sentence, of course, is a simple sentence, because at the time of make you understand about the definition of a simple sentence, you are told that, my dear learners, a simple sentence is a sentence which possessed one principal clause, at least one principal clause, and sometimes phrase maybe have or not have possessed or not, my dear learners. In this sense, we can call this statement is, of course, a simple sentence. So write down simple sentence. Okay, my dear learners, now think about example number 5. Example number 5, you can say that, my dear learners, this sentence has two portions. We eat rice. We eat rice, and another person, so that we can live oil. So that we can live oil. Okay, my dear learners, now think about clause. I can say we utilize principal clause, and so that we can live oils a subordinate clause. Because now think about why this person is a principal clause. Because according to the definition of a principal clause, we can say that, my dear learners, a principal clause is a clause which clause contains at least a subject and a finite verb. At least a subject and a finite verb. In this sense, this person is, of course, a principal clause. Now think about another clause, so that we can live oil. Okay, my dear learners, try to think about this statement, because you are told about the definition of a subordinate clause in my last class. You are told that, my dear learners, a subordinate clause is a clause which contains a subject, a finite verb, and any subordinate marker. And in this sense, according to the definition of a subordinate clause, this portion is of course a subordinate clause. Now my dear learners, think about what category of sentence is this. According to my mind, and I can ensure you, my dear learners, from the definition of principal clause, subordinate clause, and complex sentence, definition of complex sentence, we call that this sentence of course a complex sentence. Complex sentence, because at the time I make you understand about the definition of a complex sentence. You are told that, my dear learners, in my last class, a complex sentence is a sentence which contains one principal clause and at least one subordinate clause. Okay, my dear learners, now think about example number 6. Example number 6, we can say, my dear learners, this sentence has two portions. One portion wait right, another parts or portion we can leave oil and mixed with coordinating conjunction and. Okay, my dear learners, now think about clause. This portion is a principal clause and another portion is a principal clause. Now think about why this portion and this portion, that portion is a principal clause, because according to the definition of a principal clause, you are told that, my dear learners, principal clause is a clause which contains at least a subject and a finite verb. Subject and a finite verb. In this sense, according to the definition of a principal clause, we can say this two portion of course a principal clause. And now think about what category of statement or sentence is this. According to my mind, my dear learners, I can ensure you this statement is of course a compound sentence. So write down compound sentence. Compound sentence. My dear learners, now my question to you: why this statement is a compound sentence? Can you say, my dear learners? Okay. This statement is of course a compound sentence because we are told at the time I make you understand about the definition of a compound sentence in my last class. We are told that a compound sentence is a sentence which contains two principal clauses joined together by coordinating conjunction like and but or, as well as either dot or neither dot nor, either dot or neither dot nor, etc. So, my dear learners, according to the definition of a compound sentence, we can say this statement is of course a compound sentence. Okay, my dear learners, তাহলে আমরা কি বললাম বন্ধুরা, আরেকবার রিভিউ করার চেষ্টা করি। যে সেন্টেন্সে একটি মাত্র প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে, যে সেন্টেন্সে একটি মাত্র প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে, সেখানে ফ্রেজ থাকতেও পারে নাও পারে, সেই সেন্টেন্সকে আমরা নিঃসন্দেহে সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স বলতে পারবো। ওকে বন্ধুরা, তাহলে কি বললাম, যে সেন্টেন্স বা বাক্যে একটি মাত্র প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ থাকবে, সেখানে ফ্রেজ থাকতেও পারে নাও পারে, সেই সেন্টেন্সকে আমরা সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স বলতে পারবো বন্ধুরা। ওকে, ট্রাই টু রিমেম্বার। অ্যান্ড 2 নম্বরে কি বললাম বন্ধুরা, যে সেন্টেন্সে একটি মাত্র প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ, একটি মাত্র প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ এবং এক বা একাধিক সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজ থাকবে, এক বা একাধিক সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজ থাকবে, সেই সেন্টেন্সকে আমরা কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স বলতে পারবো, সেই সেন্টেন্সকে আমরা কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স বলতে পারবো। আর 3 নম্বর কি বললাম বন্ধুরা, যে সেন্টেন্সে দুইটা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ, কয়টা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ, দুইটা প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ, coordinating conjunction and but or either dot or neither dot or as well as ইত্যাদি coordinating conjunction দ্বারা যুক্ত থাকবে, এই ধরনের যতগুলো সেন্টেন্স বা বাক্য আমরা দেখতে পাবো, we can notice in our grammar book, in our English grammar book, we can call such kinds of statement or sentence of course a complex sentence. So viewers, hope that you have understood about the various kinds of definition of simple, complex and compound sentence. Hope that now you can identify very easily simple, complex and compound sentence. Hope that you have understood my today's class, today's episode. So viewers, today's episode I don't want to learn then. So viewers, no more today. come to you again with a new arrangement, new class, and pray to Allah for me so that I can serve you in this various kinds of wonderful class and beautiful class, so that you can remove all the weakness about English, and so that you can be benefited, you can be perfect in your future life, and pray to Allah for me so that he can give me the strength, so that I can serve you. My dear learners, no more today come to second. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.